What's up, everybody? This is Urgil99, and we're back with more Escape from Tarkov. Yesterday we covered a fair bit of information on the basic game and the stash. We got some new toys. I took the liberty of rearranging my stash to try to make things a little more sane. But one thing I did want to cover in more detail, though, is the health system in Tarkov. So, anyway, for medication, you've got a lot of these fellows. These are AI2 med kits, also known as cheese. They only really work for healing health at this point. Radiation and poison are not in the game. So all these will do is replenish health. So if, say, your leg is at 30, you take one of these puppies, you'll get 35 health back and you'll lose 35 health on the HP resource, which is kind of like the durability. Once it goes to 0, obviously, they're gone. These AI2s are really basic, but they're kind of like candy. They're all over the place. They're not very efficient medicine-wise. The most common most common kit you see used is this one, the IFAC. That's because whereas this has 100 units of durability, this one has 300 units of durability for the same slot cost. So it's very inventory efficient. In addition, this one stops blood loss. Certain wounds, if you get certain injuries you get, you'll receive a bleed, and it'll do damage to that section until it's zeroed out. And if the bleed is still not treated, it will actually start taking health from the rest of your body. So using an application, as you can see here, it takes 30 points of health off of the kit, but in the long run, it's definitely worth it. But these IFACs are still they're a little higher. You gotta get a little higher up in the game before you can reliably get your hands on these IFACs. Then we've got the Salawa, which is 400 health in a 2 slot, which is it's alright, I guess. And then you got the big boy here, the Grizzly. This one actually helps with fractures, as well as stopping blood loss. The downside is, of course, that it's freaking massive. People like to hotbar their medical items, but the Grizzly is so big, it won't actually fit in any of your rigs or pockets to be hotbarred. Most rigs don't have a 4-slot. Yeah, see, this one only has one. They're not very common for it to have big pockets on rigs. So you have to. So plus, for this ability, you could just use splints. And of course you have bandages for bleeds. Morphine is a painkiller. If you're in pain, you'll have, like I said, you'll start wobbling, you'll have difficulty aiming, things like that. But you can buy, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and buy some painkillers from the therapist. You can see these have four uses as opposed to the one single shot from the morphine. So these are more cost efficient. Morphines you don't have ready access to until near the end game. Anyway, there is one intermediary kit. You can see here the car med kit. This one does stop blood loss. It does cost a bit more, but it's a 2-slot item. Cars actually aren't too hard to get a hold of. Once I finish that task, there's a couple tasks in you can get cars reliably after that point. Otherwise, you gotta, get up to loyalty level 2 with a therapist, or you got a trader. Oh, wrong tab. Or you got a trader duct tape for a car. There's these little odd and sod junk items you'll find here in Tarkov. They were just kind of sell fodder until recently, because now we have the hideout. You can see this is our great bunker. Now, I've got a level 4 stash because I have EOD. That was one of the other benefits of getting the more advanced additions to the game, was you got more stash space. But now anyone can spend this resources to upgrade their stash. But it's pretty, as you can tell, it's basically an old decommissioned bunker that we managed to find. And it's had some previous occupants. And we can go in and we can upgrade all this stuff. But eventually we can get air filtering units, we can get a Bitcoin farm, a booze generator, so basically a still. They added the Christmas tree. Which adds, of course, a Christmas tree and a bunch of Christmas lights throughout the base. So that's kind of fun. Your big item is going to be your generator. You also have to find fuel for it. Pick up a nutrition unit, be a little kitchen. You can pick up a shooting range, so you can practice with your weapons. You don't have to go offline, do an offline raid. You can just practice here in the range with unlimited ammo. The workbench, which you'll need to do full modifications. But it's pretty handy. You can even have night vision in your hideout, even though you don't have it. But this is basically a big sink for cash and material. And some of the bonuses get pretty substantial, but you've got to go out into raids and get this stuff. Or you've got to get up to level 5 and buy it on the flea market, which ain't going to be cheap. So, in that vein, we should probably set out to do some, at the very least, some basic loadouts that we can secure cheaply, and because I don't want to play with the expensive toys. So we've already got AI2s and stuff and bandages for meds, so we'll use those because they can be, as you can see, they can be easily replaced. So no worries there. As far as the weapons, I could go in with the Makarovs, but to be perfectly frank, Makarovs are a freaking joke. And so are these weapons. Let's see. AKM. For 3 cans of Tachanka, I've got 8 cans of Tachanka in my stash. So that's an option. I have the Keter, which is a Makarov submachine gun, basically. I have the Mosin. The Mosin is actually very powerful. But the version you get, the infantry Mosin, that you can get for cash, you're stuck with irons. And it can be kind of, yeah, because it's bolt action. Then we've got the SKS for 22K. Now let's get 1 SKS, and we need some ammo. Some SKS uses 7.62 by 39. So we need 5.45. 7.62 by 39 PS. We'll say 50 rounds. Alright. So that'll be one weapon we can use. Unfortunately, this version of the SKS is the hunting version, so it has an internal magazine. So no box magazines. We can also go over to Peacekeeper, and we can pick up this HK MP5K. We can pick up, we'll say, 3 mags. And then we need to find some 9mm ammo. Let's see, 12 gauge shotgun shells. That looks like that's for the Tukarev. Yeah, that's for one of the Russian rifle variants. How about you? We go PST-GZH. So we can buy some 9mm rounds. Let's say we need 90 rounds. Okay, so that's a couple weapons. You can buy 65 for PST-GZH from, if that's 9x19. 9x18. God fucking damn it. Always gotta watch them calibers though. Still need 90 rounds. Put this down with the Makarov crap. Because I've still got these. As you can see, they're kind of 37. He won't even buy them. 3606. Yeah. See? They're a bit of a joke. Okay, for our armor, we've got a few options here, but not really. This will be nice. This is class 4 armor. It doesn't repair very well because it's ceramic plates. So when you go to repair it, you'll typically lose some durability every time you repair. These don't repair very well at all. They lose significant durability when they're repaired. So their service life isn't very long. Plus this is an armored rig. This isn't standard chest body armor. We'll go ahead and buy 2 sling bags. Buy 2 of these miniature chest rigs. Then we've got really the only viable option as far as body armor goes that we get at this level is PACA soft armor. It's class 2 armor. So it'll kind of stop shotguns, and that's basically it. Pick up 2 of these. Then we've got these headphones. You put these on and you can hear better as long as your helmet isn't like this piece of crap and doesn't cover up your ears. This is the Colpack Riot helmet. This is basically useless. Most people tend to use this one, the SSH 68. It's class 3 armor. It doesn't cover a lot, but it's high ricochet chance. So it can help save your life. We'll get 2 of these. And then another thing we need to get is to cover our face, because we need something where we don't stick out, you know. A pasty face white boy, you'll stick out pretty easily with without a face mask on. And that should be it. It's almost 200,000 rubles, but that's 2 full item sets. So first thing we're going to do, alt click, we're going to equip some of this stuff. There's a few ways we can go about this. We can do the SKS, or we can do the MP5K. And we can't open the modding interface, so we have to inspect our items and be sure to examine your parts. If you need to mod your items in the field, you won't be able to. Here's your internal magazine. In order to load the gun, you can't just drag and drop your ammo in there because it just loads the chamber. It won't load the internal magazine. So you have to go in here, drag that out, drag it back. Now we've got 10 in the magazine and 1 in the chamber. So we are good to go there. As for the MP5, we're going to, of course, examine all our components. We got our MP5 upper. We'll take out this 20 round mag. Now, because it's a dynamic inventory, as you can see when it's got a small magazine like this, when certain especially certain mag-driven weapons are unloaded, they're very small and tight to fit. But if you put the gun in, it expands in the inventory, which is good and bad, because I like this MPX. I can say, yeah, it's got this suppressor and it's all massive and stuff, but I can just inspect. I can take off this DS mount, which is a thread barrel mount. I shaved off 2 spaces. Take the mag out, and I can take the handle off. And now, of course, you can see it's red because I have an incomplete weapon. I don't have a grip. But you can see I went from a weapon that takes up 8 spaces. I went to a weapon that took up 10 spaces down to 4. So let's put that back on, all back on there. So that's something to keep in mind. As for this 20 round mag, I'm going to throw it down in my items case. I'm going to go and do my initial loadout of meds. Go with a bandage, AI2, some painkillers. We'll go just tap the number key you want to be on each hotkey. And then I'm going to go with the MP5, and then I'm going to take along some ammo in the gamma container. So this will be my first loadout. Now we can play as either as a scav, which is like just being in a raid, but you got to look out for other player scavs, and your loadout is randomized. This fella's got a mean Taz with a sight, and he's got some headphones, so he's doing pretty well for himself. It looks like he's got an armored rig, or he's got a chest rig, not just the scav vest. And then we've got our guy with his stinky MP5K. But you see what I mean? See how the skin and all stands out, whereas if you wear the balaclava, it's not near as bad. Now we're going to go play. As you can see, some of the maps aren't available. They are talking about releasing Streets of Tarkov soon as kind of like the story's intro about, you know, things going sideways and having to escape Tarkov. Interchange is probably where we're going to go. This is a kind of a big shopping mall. And we'll go early morning. Don't have the map in our inventory, so we won't see the infill extraction points. Most people just use web-based maps made by third parties. We're going to go offline for this, so this is just a test run. Yeah, so you will be alone on this. You can use this to explore the maps, get a feel for your weapons. The other thing is, like, we could turn on scavs. We could turn on bosses. But we just want to see the map. Because the maps in Tarkov, except for factory and labs, they're all pretty huge. Labs is very involved because it's a subterranean facility. Factory is fairly small. Typical COD type deathmatch stuff. That's where you go, is the factory. But you tend to get super sweaty nerds in factories, so I try to avoid it. But we're just here to learn about the game. We're not here to score loot. And nothing that happens in offline mode matters. No matter what if I manage to somehow kill myself with no scavs around and no hand grenades, won't matter. So it's a good place to learn the game and not risk your loadouts. The downside being that you don't really gain anything at the same time. Alright, we're spawned in. We got 55 minutes. You can see it looks like we got a far corner. Gotta always check your gun, because they tend to come in on single fire. And, well, for most guns in Tarkov, that's not what you want. Okay. Looks like some kind of checkpoint. Oh, yeah. So we come around, looking for loot on the tables. Okay, looks like we're on the outskirts of the mall, which is what that is up there. It's still pretty bright outside because we're still early-ish in the morning, but we're not super early. But as you can see, it looks like we got the loading docks in the back of the mall. Sometimes these keys will spawn in the back of these, on these bus seats. So, always interesting to check them out. Head up here into the back of the mall. Ooh, weapon case. Ooh, morphine. In fact, if I was playing legit, that would be going in there because there's actually a mission. There's a mission later where you need to find morphines in raid for therapists, so just kind of cruising around. Sometimes items will spawn on these shelves back here and stuff. Toolbox. Ooh. Looks like some corrugated hose. Yeah, this stuff used to be really valuable earlier in this patch because there was a wipe, so people were using them to expand their hideouts and stuff. Okay, we're in Ollie, which is, I guess, kind of like a hardware store. As you can see, it gets really dark in here. But you can find all kinds of oddball spawns. Ooh, Salawa. Some capacitors. So you just kind of look around and get the feel for the place. Duct tape. Get this fountain. See, cash registers. I think you need a key for these. Yeah. Gotta. So you can search computers. Empty. Sometimes you'll also see USB drives sticking out of the DVD drives. Don't really need any at this point. And it's not like I can take it with me. There's the main entrance to the mall down there. Then we've got the rest of the mall. These little side stores. Texo. This is a hard drive. Yeah, this is a tech item store, so you get some tech loot floating around in here. Hard drive. Ooh. Geiger counter. Very nice. Now in offline mode, the loot's not as good as, say, a full raid, but you still get the basic gist of looting and where everything is. Damn it. They let everyone steal all the... Top brand. This is where Ragman used to be a marketing guy, so a lot of his tasks will center around the mall. Some cigarettes. So you see some of these stores were converted. They were taken over by various entities. So they can be a bit of a mess. Tactical intervention systems. Kiba. Yeah, this is the gun store. And there's usually some super sexy stuff in here. Weapons, mods. Like for example, they'll be on that back wall, they'll have stuff mounted up. There'll be some more stuff in that storeroom over there. Some of these mannequins will even have helmets or body armor. But unfortunately, it's locked. There's actually two doors. There's this big screw-off steel door, and then there's another gate behind it. And I do believe some of this glass is bulletproof. No, it's not. I guess they changed it. Yep, I just put a bullet hole in there, so yeah. The glass ain't bulletproof no more. I guess they got tired of people goofing off. But yeah, we got brutal. Just mantis. But there are three primary stores there are three big box stores in cheese. You can see there's medical areas, so you can find some meds floating around here. Pile of meds. Thing in there. Ooh, jacket. Always search jackets. Because they have keys. Keys are fairly valuable. Now, because one of the downsides of having a high rate of fire weapon is you burn your mags pretty quick and you gotta sit here and reload. And yes, they can hear you do this. Especially if they've got good earphones on. But it's gotta be done. Let's see. I think that's Emercom. That's basically the Russian version of the American Red Cross. Goshen. But they've got other stores, mainly clothing stores and just kind of oddball stuff. Dino clothes. They've also got a food court, which is kind of funny because you can see all the parody names that they came up with for all these big ticket, places. We got Idea, aka IKEA. We got a basic little map, if you can read Russian. A few odds and ends you can find around in an Idea. So overall, I mean, they definitely nailed the atmosphere. It's one thing they can definitely say they got with no problems. Look like a brake rotor. It's like we sell furniture, not cars. What's that doing here? See, here's the back end of Idea. Power station and railway. So I'm going to come down here. Here's the power station. You can find a bit of loot in this building too without having to go into the actual mall, because, well, the mall can be pretty dangerous. There's a scav boss in there called Killa, and yeah, it does what it says on the label. Tool set and some blue duct tape. Some gunpowder. Very nice. So you can stay away from, you know, the high traffic areas where you know the PMCs are going to be. You can just run around out here. Less likely to have to deal with players, but more likely to have to deal with scavs. Dorms 308, not bad. Yeah, if nothing else, just being able to identify this stuff can make offline raids worthwhile. We've got filing cabinets. These are usually fairly good too for keys, if there was anything in them. 203, we already. Spark plugs, you'll need those for a mission from Therapist later. Duct tape. D-plugs. USB adapter. Aww. It's a vehicle extraction. They have those around. Someone will just sit there in a car and you give them 3,000 rubles and you can take off. Which is kind of nice. But it's usually a very long wait. Guess we ain't getting in that way. A Slicker's bar. Yeah, there's also a big underground parking garage down there. There's a few holes in the floor that you can actually go up into the mall, so you don't have to use any of the regular entrances. Of course, that comes with the downside of you're basically surrounded the minute you pop your head up. And now we're on the far side of we should be on the far side of the mall. If you want to be cheeky breaky, you can head up there and snipe people. Just be all sneaky and pop people. Good place probably to get the later mission called Shooter Born in Heaven. Requires headshots at over 100 meters. And posting up there would probably be a good place to get them. And we've got this, looks like a freeway construction site. Don't know if there's any loot over here. It's just somewhere you can go that's out of the way. Right now our main concern is getting to the railway exfil and getting the heck out of here. What have we here? This must be the blockade. A weapons case with nothing in it. This must be the edge of the Tarkov blockade. Ow. As you can see, I did a little bit of damage. Just press 5. All better. Looks like that might be the railway extraction. Normally, from what I hear, this area tends to have extract campers. Yeah, this area isn't walled off, so we can leave the area here. Yay! 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Yay! We survived! Almost 4 kilometers traveled, 1 key found. We probably won't have this progress. 2633. Yeah. That won't track probably. A lot of it was looting experience. The examination experience we get to keep. That's why it's good to examine everything. Yeah, 1637, you see it didn't take. Oh well. But yeah, that's the, as you can see, we got our ammo back and we didn't get to keep anything. Wow, wow. But that is basically it in a nutshell. These fairly cheap loadouts, these will get the job done as far as getting things done. You can just chillax and until we get access to the flea market at level 5, fence is really your lifeline as far as if you want things that you can't get a hold of, but it's expensive. I mean, it's like stupid expensive. Like, see, he sells he buys the Makarov for, he sells the Makarov for $78.49 right there, but if you go to Prop War, you can buy it for 62, 100 rubles. And it's the same way when he buys stuff. Like, he'll buy the Mackie for 3606, which is a little bit better than 50% of the value. Of course, we've got a mag and ammo in there, so that probably affects the price. Let's do a little experiment, shall we? Let's go down here, inspect, yoink. Okay, so we got a fully loaded Mackie, then we've got the Mackie with an empty mag. So trading, Prop 4. So, as you can see, 2803, 62, so 28 would be 56. So yeah, it gives you just under, like, about 40% price. Meanwhile, old Fancy Boy $78.49, but he'll only pay $1,500 for an empty Makarov. So yeah, you don't want to sell to Fence. Fence will rip you off. You also really don't want to buy from Fence because Fence will rip you off. But only once you get past level 5, you won't need to deal with Fence basically ever. You can just go in and identify items and get that free item examination XP. That is pretty much all Fence is good for once you get past level 5. You can see some of the more advanced armors people are selling. 7 of 7. Good God. Yeah, people will sell to Fence armors that are really low durability like this. Because no one else will buy them, I think. So they just dump them here. They'll also disassemble their guns and sell the parts. Once again, I don't know why you would sell the parts to Fence, but hey, I guess it's just his random assortment. Most people don't really sell to Fence anymore. Then instead of a regular restock time like the other merchants, because their inventory is static, he just has big random piles of RNG crap. But if you're in the need for something or you want to try something out and you don't have regular access to it, odds are you can get it from Fence. You see we got Untar armor. Ja, unta. It's the UN. It's class 3, so I mean it is technically better than the P.A.K.A. But 31,000 rubles and I'd have to repair 10 of 45? Yeah, no. Nope, nope, nope. You can see all the armors are seriously depleted. Some of them aren't too terrible, like this Gazelle. But a lot of them are... Ugh. It's just a matter of what you want to take the risk. It's got a tri-zip, but I already got two tri-zips. You can also get a hold of some weapons that are probably going to be better, but like the Sega 9. Thing is, like the Saiga is only a single fire 9mm, so it's like, why? But like I said, fence is kind of an odd bag. Stanag magazines. Big magazines for the TAWs. It's a 4-round mag for that 20 gauge bolt action. A package of 7.62 by 39 PS, which we can already get, so we don't need to worry about. Sometimes you can get probably some higher end ammos off of them if you're willing to dig through them, but it's not really worth it. But anyway, that'll do it for this episode. I'm Urgil99. I'll see you next time.